It's something that's been in my coaching sessions before, but it's actually a super high level concept that I didn't learn until Team Runes. So, and we all know how far that got me. Crappa.
Banana slam jam.
Hey man, so just so you know, I'm using you for content, so don't view this as a favor. Thank you. My question for you is, how do you feel about this teleport?
So, I've been trying to have valid reasons every time I teleport to the safe lane. And my idea here was that with 2 dead and
That are about
I
to
think
respawn.
yeah, but isn't Ench or Kunkka? I think Ench is dying down there right now
Yes,
as
she
well.
is. Kunkka's gonna clear mid, yeah, and then you have 2 people respawning.
So my idea is that I could TP top and then shove 2 waves, and then we can cut back, or I can cut back down to bottom with the Ench respawn and your 2 respawns, and then re-get control there.
I see. Let me inform myself to make sure I see this play correctly.
I think I send Mantis top, and then I go down fast again.
Okay. So would you agree that in terms of farming on the map, you're the strongest hero on our team?
Yes.
Making sure we're on the same page there. But so what I want to tell you, man, is that this is a concept I learned about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember. But point being, I was already like pretty high MMR, about where you are, you know, right now. So it's not something I expect a lot of carry players to understand. Pretty much only the ones that are as good or better than me. This is how Dota works. You play the map, and when everyone's farming, the map is as open to your team as the guy that's the most aggressive on your team, or the strongest. So, if you're playing up in the face of the opponent, then your team will obviously have that much more space, right? There's like this, let's imagine this fence, this invisible fence that contains our area of farming. And I want everyone to imagine that the strongest hero, meaning the split push heavy hero, not the split push heavy, the most survivable hero while farming. So in this case, it's for them it's Ember, and for us it's you. Okay? Yep. So they decide where that fence is, okay? If they overextend through the fence, you know, they get killed. If they play too passively, then the fence is just corralling them into a very small portion of the map with their team. So, I know my viewers are going to lull at this, okay? But this game is hard for us because the 2 guys dictating the fence, one guy's you and the other guy's Quinn. Do you realize, like, how big of a deal it is that you are the strongest hero on our team right now?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm with you.
So this game becomes really hard because of that. And this is not blaming thing. This is something where as a carry player, when I initially got called out for this, I was in full-on denial. Like, I was very stubborn. I'm not saying you are, but I was like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, I'm farming, basically, you know?
Yeah.
So here's what happens. If you TP away from the aggressive part of the map, actually, I'll ask you this first. So first and foremost, as Jug in this game, how would you compare your ability to be aggressive based on whether or not you have a teleport available?
I more so was basing it upon where Tree was, because even if I have the teleport, then Tree ulti can still stop that. But with the teleport, I felt very confident to play the bottom half of the map.
You're very strong, right? Like, yeah. It's very hard to kill you. You'd have to be way out of position, and Tree has to be set up on you, right?
Yeah, I was doing my best to play as aggressive bottom as
So
possible.
I understand that you, because you're high 7K, maybe higher, maybe 8K, that you understand that you are strong and that you think about, you know, Tree ult canceling your TP and all this kind of stuff. And I know that you know with your TP scroll available, you can play down here. So here's how it goes. If you unnecessarily TP to the top half of the map, you are neutering your aggression on the map and thus being the strongest hero on your team. I want you to look at the map, okay? Look at where we're playing. I understand we die on heroes, okay? Look at what happens because of this result. We die on 2 heroes, and you TP top. Let's wait for it here. I don't remember where it is. I must have rewound too far. Here it is. Let's wait about... You see the effect in 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
Did you see where our entire team is? Enchantress is moving back towards bottom. Do you see where we
Behind the
all are?
river.
Okay. So my question for you, to be honest with you, the enemy team didn't punish it all that well. But here's what I'll ask you. When they go on you bottom like this with 3 heroes, right? If you are the strongest hero on the map and you TP top, what are they immediately going to do? If they're good.
Run at me.
They're going to run this way and this way.
Yeah.
Right? This is what really good players are going to do. So Quinn does it. You know, the rest of his team isn't pushing mid properly. But Quinn does it. And what ends up happening is you'll go like this. And what should happen is this lane gets pushed. This lane gets pushed with 3 of them. And one of our heroes has to run all the way to bottom to clear it. And now they're like controlling the Roche area. And the main thing is there's absolutely no pressure on the bottom lane. It's really hard to portray this concept, man. It's like in the middle of the game when you did this TP, I was so pissed. So I had to figure out how I have to portray this better because I know I'm not doing a good job.
No, actually,
So-
I think, not to interrupt you, I think the same thing happened in the win game we did, where I had a TP top and you mentioned the similar idea. And I think the difference there was that I was saving my Arc Warden, who was in the trees.
Yeah.
But, and then the same thing happened where bottom became very inhabitable, and then I think my Enchantress in that game as well ended up dying because I TP'd away, and then we lost. Same thing happened. And
Yeah.
here it's like instead of that, it was my team died first, and then I TP'd out. But
So
same result.
I guess so. The biggest thing for me is that you know you're really strong playing bottom, and you know that you represent a lot of pressure bottom, right?
Right.
Like you know that. So it's like the minute you relinquish that pressure bottom, the opponent's allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. Like they can just do whatever they want, and everyone else on your team is gankable. Like everyone other than you. So, like, the second you leave bottom in this specific game, and games like this, where if you were the Ember, for instance, and did the same thing, or if Morphling's the really strong hero and he does the same thing, the only reason you can TP out of bottom is because they commit so fucking hard, right? So hard that they force you out of bottom. Like, you have to be a looming threat on the bottom lane. Like, you have to be a looming threat that no matter what they do, they have to consistently worry about you pushing that bottom tower. If you don't do that, your team's going to either have to be forced to play hyper passive on the map, or they're going to try to do your job for you and die, right?
Right.
So this is the type of TP that I got called as a game ruiner. Like my Team Runes, called me as a game ruiner for doing these TPs. Okay? Because it just ruins the entire map. Like I'm thinking as Mars, I'm like, if Jug's consistently pushing bottom, I'll shove in mid, or Kunkka's gonna shove in mid. We're gonna play their jungle, maybe look to smoke the top, all this shit. My entire game plan, my entire vision of the game just falls to shit when you TP top. I have no clue what to do anymore. Like I have to wait until somehow this equilibrium is reestablished, and in the meantime, we're kind of just sitting ducks. Like we're just hoping they don't catch us. You know what I mean? Do you see this?
I see what you mean. So the play is probably instead of TPing out to TP back to the bottom tier 1 and then do like Ancients and then go
What do you
right
mean
back to the bottom
TP?
lane.
Why do you need to TP at all?
Maybe I panic TP'd. I don't
Yeah,
know.
this is absolutely a panic TP.
I felt okay.
So we see Morphling mid, we see Snapfire back there. Yeah, is that not a panic TP to you?
Yeah, no, it's a panic TP.
So what I mean by absolutely forcing you to TP is it's like there are 4 heroes right on fucking top of you. And if you TP top here, you get to run immediately back mid, and then we're probably having to smoke. And this is an example where because they're so hard on top of you, maybe you overextended or whatever, so it's acceptable. I want this to never be unforced. Like this has to be forced by the opponent.
Yeah.
If they're 4 heroes on top of you, their movements are pretty predictable too. If there are 4 heroes on top of you like that. But what's going to happen here is they only brought 3. Morphling was still on the map. So all of our lanes are going to be pushed. Ember's going to clear bottom, and theoretically purple and yellow could just run back towards mid, and our entire map would be gone. Like if the enemy team was really smooth, it would be like Ember push this, the other 3 run here, Morph play like right here, and then our entire team is stuck like right here. And there's actually no play we can make about it because of the TP you made. So I meant this to be short, but I know it's a hard concept, and I know it's something I struggled to identify. But these safe lane TPs, when unforced, like, the lesson here for you, this is really for high MMR players, is that you understand that you're supposed to pressure bottom, and I now need you to understand how important the threat of that pressure is. What you should have done is just walk back to triangle, and since you see this ward, if you see them run back mid, you then walk right back bottom.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So it's all about, as often as humanly possible, having that pressure. And these are things I only feel when the guy on the enemy team is really good, right? Like, if the other guy is also ranked 150, 200, this isn't going to be that big of a deal. But when we're playing against, top 10 players in the core role at the other team, like, they do this shit so well. Like, fucking CCNC was so fucking, like, a thorn in our side that entire game. Like, we're trying to win this game, and he's just running in front of us like a madman. I ended up buying a sheep stick. So it's just, I want you to understand that this will be you 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3 games, right? Because it's almost always a core. And you just can't relinquish this pressure in these types of situations. Try to identify similar ones in your games, because it is very similar to that Wind Ranger game. And for your own good, I know you're not nearly as stubborn as I was when I was around your MMR. Try to be super open-minded about the fact that, like, I know you said you're thinking more carefully about your TPs to safe lane, but they have to be absolutely forced. Or you're a piece of shit and you're useless. Like, I just got done with a coaching session on like a 5k offlaner, and he was like a Sand King without Epicenter, right? So it's like, at that point, it's reasonable for him to TP top. But you're literally our strongest hero with your ult off cooldown. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, makes sense.
Okay, cool, man. Any questions? I know I just laid it on.
That'll make sense.
Okay. Right on, man. Keep getting better. I see it.
Thanks.
See ya.
Peace.
Yeah, I needed to talk to him about that. Because he's in my games. I'm trying to better the region. I know he's open-minded. He's got a good attitude. Good guy.